Hello, I just wanted to thank you for clicking on my video, and I also wanted to let you know that not only do I create content here on Class in the Glass, but I also stream content in my Twitch channel, Mr. Revan7. I play single-player games, multiplayer games, and I also do movie reviews and cartoon reviews as well. I also want to encourage you to check out my Patreon, Class in the Glass, where I offer audio commentaries, full reactions for movies, and also the ability to submit questions for my video casts and podcasts. In the meantime, thank you for watching, and enjoy the video. Let's go ahead and jump into this review. Now, Batman Heart of Ice, chat, as people have pointed out, this won an Emmy for its writing. This is a perfect showcase of what you could do with the Batman property, chat. Reinventing the Batman property. They took pretty much a nothing character of Mr. Freeze, who was only defined by his powers. He was defined because he had an ice gun and he couldn't get out of his fucking suit. That was pretty much it. But Bruce Timm, Paul Dini, all the writers of animated series, they provided just a wealth of a backstory for Mr. Freeze. Such a tragic Batman villain. You know, searching for a cure for his wife, is accidentally exposed to chemicals that is not the fault of his own, where he's trapped inside this suit at sub-zero temperatures forever. If he gets out of the suit, he'll die. And like all of his, and the only way that he thinks that he can save his wife is by accepting a criminal lifestyle. And he's like emotionally dead, except the one thing that makes him still human, and in some capacity, is the love for his wife. But no, it's such an amazing take on a character. And yeah, it deserves all the accolades. Yeah, it deserves all the accolades for what they did, reinventing who Mr. Freeze is. And I really do want somebody to do like an actual live-action adaptation of the story, or at least be inspired by it, because the Batman Robin is such a bastardized take on it, and this story deserves to be seen in live action. I think that'd be amazing. But they did such a great job in the animation too. And like, I forget the voice actor who voices Mr. Freeze, but does such a goddamn good job. Such a good job, chat. Yeah, in all seriousness. And yeah, it has its own, like, this episode has its own fucking Wikipedia page of its talking about its legacy and what it did. Oh, Dark Side of the Vibes, thank you. They're not removed. It's just all one. It's just one that's taking its sweet time to come down. It's, oh, it feels like I'm teething. Oh, shit. I'm sorry. Can we get some Mr. Revan Yates, Mr. Revan Hypes in the chat for Dark Slayer? That's rough, man. That's rough. Yeah. Sorry, Mr. Freeze, one of my favorite kids. He's great. Yeah, this is the show that made me love Mr. Freeze, chat. Made me just feel so sorry for him. You know, he does some fucking messed up stuff. I mean, his situation doesn't get better as the series goes along. He had his own movie, too. He got, what was it? A very underrated Batman animated film, chat. Batman Sub-Zero. It's kind of the forgotten one, when next to stuff like, you know, Batman Mask of the Phantasm or Batman Beyond Return of the Joker. But Sub-Zero is very good. It's very entertaining. It's a great Mr. Freeze film. And it kind of gives Mr. Freeze some sense of closure with his wife, actually. It was very nice. And then they bring him back again in the 4th season, and like what happens to him there, because it's like, oh, they leave on like a really good note, Mr. Freeze. He's like, okay, well, I can never be with my wife because I'm what I chose to become, but she eventually lives her life. She lives again. They cured the disease, and he's happy about that, and he cries when he sees that, but he remains in exile. And then he comes back to fucking Gotham, and he is even worse. And Batman's like, why are you like this? And you find out, and there's like some real creepy fucking body horror of Mr. Freeze, chat, in the force. It's like, Jesus. And he comes back in Batman Beyond, too. Such a great take in the character animated form. Seriously, if you've not checked out the Mr. Freeze episodes in Batman animated series and the movie, and like Sub-Zero and Batman Beyond, do yourself a favor, because he has a very tragic end. Very, very tragic end. But we're talking about his first appearance, chat, Heart of Ice, and it opens up that beautiful title card, Heart of Ice, where you see the snow globe, the woman that represents his wife, and you see Snowfall, and we get this excellent monologue. What is this guy's? Who's the voice actor for Mr. Freeze? Michael Ansaro, who I believe passed away. I think he was a Native American actor and voice actor. Passed away last decade, chat, 2013. But he has just this, I don't know how to even describe it. This stoic delivery that is so devoid of emotion, but everything he says is emotional. It's such an inspired vocal performance for this character. You speak like, oh, it's devoid of emotion afterwards. It's like, no, like everything he's saying is so beautiful and melancholy, but that lack of emotion is what makes it so cold, so terrifying, why it's such an effective performance. And so we're just staring at this snow globe where he's just talking about his wife and how he's going to get the motherfuckers who prevented us from being together. Because in this case, Chad, he thinks his wife is dead. He doesn't know that his wife is actually still alive, but he thinks his wife is dead, and he's seeking fucking vengeance, chat. And then we cut to goddamn Vicky Vale, or Summer. They call her Summer in this, but it's fucking Vicky Vale. I know who it is. Vicky Vale, and she's out in front of GothCorp, Chad. There's been another robbery, another GothCorp building. People stealing this freezing tech, and people don't understand why. This is like the hottest summer on record for Gotham. Ooh, and the snow's appreciating shit. But we don't understand these robberies. Let's cut to fucking, the leader of the company, Mr. Boyle. Well, that's a great name, Chad. Mr. Boyle. Matter of fact, Chad, Boyle, who is, what's the name? Ferris Boyle. And this is actually Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill voices this character, and this is how he initially got involved with Batman animated series. He was supposed to be on for a guest appearance as this character, as Ferris Boyle, who is the one who basically shut down Victor Freeze's operation and exposing all those chemicals and things. But Mark Hamill came in to this to voice this character. It's gonna be a one-off thing, and he was asking Bruce Timm, "Is like, are there any other characters that you would like me to voice?" And he goes, "I don't know." And because Mark Hamill says, "Well, there's one. I don't know if you found an actor for him, but I would love to voice the Joker." And this is during the time chat when Tim Curry, he had done all the recordings for the Joker, and they're like, "Well, we actually already have a Joker right now." It's Tim Curry goes, "Oh," but I think the studio head said that Tim Curry's taken the character. He was Lebanese. Oh, he was Lebanese. Thank you, sir. Maybe for the correction. I looked at the picture. I'll be honest. I looked at the picture of him. He was dressed in Native American garb, so I was like, "Oh, he must be Native American." But thank you for the correction. He was Lebanese. But I guess the studio just said, "Okay, this take on Joker is just too dark. We gotta maybe lighten up a little bit," which is funny. We think of Mark Hamill's taking the Joker, which is terrifying. And they brought him back, and they went, because I think Tim Curry had done 2 episodes or recorded 2 episodes, and they just weren't impressed with it. And they brought back Mark Hamill to voice the character. Everyone loved it, and that's when he voiced the character. But this was his first vote, and this goes to show you how production these shows work, and how they work on episodes that may come out much later or initially worked on in the beginning. And so yeah, and they eventually brought on Mark Hamill to voice the Joker. But they're talking to Ferris Boyle, chat, and he's saying we don't understand why this person is choosing to attack our facilities, but our company, which we affectionately like to call the People Company of Gotham City, the People Corporation, which is that is some corporate speak for your ass, chat. It's we would want him to express himself in a more positive way, and if we can help this individual in any capacity, we will do so. We're the People Company of Gotham City. And fucking Vicky Vale goes, "Well, I believe Ferris. He sounds like a swell guy." And fucking Mr. Freeze goes, "That motherfucker. That's not the fucking People Company." And he throws a thing at the TV. He's like, "Oh yeah, this guy thinks he's some tough shit, but I know who he is. We need another part for my freeze gun." And chat, we cut back to the Batcave, because Batman, he's been keeping track of these robberies, and Alfred's like, "So what are they doing?" And Batman's like, "This guy's building a fucking giant freeze gun." The ice theme is kind of his villainous shtick. But yeah, I bet he's gonna go to this location because he needs this last part, and this GothCorp building has the part that he needs. And so I'm gonna head out there and cut him off. Meanwhile, chat, we cut back to the guard station for this one GothCorp building, and who shows up? Mr. Freeze and the boys, and they're in a goddamn pedo van. She has a frozen pedophile van. They fucking run that guy over. He's dead. They bust on in, and they start lifting the shit. They start stealing the big old freeze gun cannon thing. But they didn't anticipate the Batman, chat, because he starts coming down there and he starts bopping and booping and punch all these guys. Mr. Freeze is like, "I don't have time for this, Batman. Get the fuck out." And he's fucking shooting, with the freeze ray and things. And indiscriminately at this point, because he has no much of it. He does not care. Batman's like, "God damn, that's cold." And eventually, Mr. Freeze, Batman dodges out of the way, and Mr. Freeze shoots one of his guys and freezes his legs. He goes, "Ah!" and he topples over, chat, and his legs snap off. His legs snap off, and he has these fucking stubs. He's like, ah! He's screaming, and Batman's like, holy shit! And everyone's like, whoa. Whoa. But he's like, fuck him, I don't give a damn about him. And like, he's like, fuck you, Batman. And he shoots the freeze gun at Batman, champ. Batman's like, oh shit. And thankfully he has his cape. And Batman's cape can do anything, chat. And he shields himself and he becomes like a little frozen Batman. He's like, all right, they don't know that he thinks I'm dead. I'm just going to hold this position for a little while longer. And you just hear in the background, my fucking legs! And the guys come over and say, we're gonna help you, man. We're gonna help you. My legs! They're in meat chunks. They're frozen meat chunks. And they're like, we're gonna help you. But Mr. Freeze is like, leave him. Fucking leave him. I don't care. And you're like, we can't leave him here. He's one of us, boss. He's one of us. Like these henchmen, chat, they will help their own. They're like, we gotta help him. And he's like, oh, you want to help him? Well, you can fucking join him if you want. He's pointing the gun at them. We're like, oh, shit, fuck, okay. All right. I'm like, get the freeze gun and get in here. Get the big old cannon. They get in there, chat. This guy's, my Stubbs. So Mr. Stubbs not doing well, chat. And right when the car's about to leave, Batman goes, I'm not dead. And he chases after Mr. Freeze's car, chat. He gets away. And he's just about to, like, throw shit. Like, he's about to go out the car, but he sees Mr. Stubbs back there. He goes, fuck. I gotta help Mr. Stubbs. So he takes his leg. He doesn't have Stubbs yet. His legs are just really frozen. He's dying. He's suffering from intense hypothermia. Batman's like, I gotta help this guy. And then we cut to the Batcave, chat. It has an escalator, by the way. I never knew Batcave had an escalator. Alfred, he's going up there, and he sees, this is funny, this clearly got some fans of Star Wars working the Batman animated series, and he's put Mr. Stubbs in a back-to-take, chat, like where Luke was floating in, and after the Wampa attack, he was floating in there. The exact same design. The exact same design. So he's floating in there, and Alfred's like, oh, you've certainly showed this man quite a bit of mercy, and Batman's like, it's what I gotta do, Alfred. I can't let Mr. Stubbs die in here. He's bopping and boop on the computer. He's, achoo, he's sneezing too, chat. And he's like, oh, you seem to have a cold, sir. And he's like, I gotta work through the sickness, man. I gotta help this man. And he's like, he continues to put in different sequences, chat, until it's like a chemical bath. It's like a hot chemical bath, and the ice starts to come off of his legs, and he's fine. He's like, there you go. So keep him here for a day, and then I'll drop him off at GCPD headquarters. And Alfred's like, well, that's very kind. He's like, yeah, man, he might be a criminal, but I don't kill anyone. I'm not a Zack Snyder Batman. But Alfred, it's an interesting situation. Like, all these robberies are happening around GothCorp buildings owned by Ferris Boyle. I'm going to talk to Mr. Boyle himself, CEO to CEO. So Bruce, he goes to GothCorp, gets a meeting with Ferris Boyle, and he's like, hey, I heard about your congratulations, Ferris, on being nominated for the Humanitarian of the Year award. And Ferris is like, oh, Bruce, it's fantastic, being a part of the People Company. It's fucking PR speak, Bruce. You have the fucking wage slaves. They calls them the wage slaves. Like, this whole facade that he has, it was all marketing. Yeah, they get a little antsy sometimes, but you get a little good old market in there, and you calm them down. You pat them in the head, and they calm them. Bruce is like, Jesus Christ, you're disgusting. Like, you can tell in his face, chat. And he's like, what can I do for you, Bruce? He says, well, we have all these robberies that are happening right now, and is there anyone that could have possibly done these, like a retribution? And Ferris Boyle goes, well, no one alive anyway. There once was an employee who would have definitely wanted to do all this stuff to me, but he's dead. Horrible accident. He's not coming back. No way he survived or anything. Captured all on tape. Bruce is like, can I see that tape? He goes, no, I can't see that tape, no. And he gets a call from his secretary. It's like, Mr. Boyle, you got to do some fucking ribbon cutting somewhere. Kissing some babies. They're like, I'm sorry to leave you here, Bruce. I'm sorry. But I have to, of course, accept my Humanitarian of the Year award. It's tonight. You're going to be there. And Bruce says, I'm just sick. And he's like, excuse me? He's like, oh, I'm sorry. I have a cold. No, I'm going to actually go back home and get myself some chicken soup. But you take care of yourself, Mr. Boyle. And Mr. Boyle, he goes in front of the cameras yet again. He's talking all this sprech chat, all this spiel about saying how great he is and how GothCorp is the greatest company. Mr. Freeze is just like, I will fucking kill this man. He says something very eloquent and profound, and death, destruction. I will get my vengeance. Vengeance is a dish best served cold, god damn it. And I'm coming for you, you son of a bitch. He's made his giant ice cannon, chat. That's how he's gonna fuck him up. And so Batman, he goes back to the the Batcave, and he's like, I gotta head out to this humanitarian ward. He told me about this tape that might reveal what happened about this former employee. I guess his name was Victor Freeze. Victor Freeze, Mr. Freeze, Victor Freeze, is there a connection? There is. Alfred's like, but before you leave, Bruce, have some chicken soup. And Bruce is like, this is a big hocking thing of chicken soup. It's 64 ounces of chicken soup, Bruce. You haven't eaten for 3 days. He's like, I sometimes forget to eat. Thank you, Alfred. And he puts down his utility belt, Chad, and he heads out there. He heads out there and he infiltrates the offices of Ferris Bueller, but he pretends to be a guard. He has like an accent like I do. He's like, Mr. Ferris told you to take some time off, enjoy the party. And he goes, you sure? He's like, yeah, don't worry about it. And so he goes off, chat, and he changes his Batman costume, and he looks through all the files, and he finds the Betamax tape. I guess it's VHS. It looks like Betamax to me. And he puts it in, chat, and then we see Mr. Freeze's backstory, where it's Victor Freeze about a year ago, and he's talking to the camera. He's like, I'm using the technology owned by Goth Corp to save my wife. I want to be able to help people who have incurable diseases until a cure is found. I'm putting in these cryo devices. And so, like my wife, she has a very specific disease. Only few people have had it, and there's no cure. But I will find a cure for her and for other people who have other diseases. But this technology is keeping her alive. And then fucking Big Dick Ferris Bueller busts on in, chat. And he goes, what are you doing in here, Victor? This is company property. He's like, sir, you don't understand. I need to use this to save my wife. Without this, she die. And Ferris Bueller goes, I don't give a fuck. And Victor's like, please, man, I don't care. And Victor's like, he pulls a gun, he grabs he orders the guards. Ferris Bueller orders the guards, like, shut this shit down and kill that wife. Not my wife. And he grabs the guard's gun. He's like, don't make me do this, please. I just want to save her. He goes, Victor, just calm down. Calm down, buddy. Calm down, pal. It's okay. And he's like, listen. We got a little heated. I understand you love your wife. It's okay. We'll forget about this. We're going to help her. And Victor goes, oh, jeez, I'm sorry. But thank you. And then he fucking kicks him. And Ferris Bueller fucking does a Spartan kick into Mr. Freeze. He goes, ah! And he hits the back chin. He gets all these fucking chemicals. He's like, oh my God, this hurts. Oh! And Ferris Bueller's like, okay, guys, we got to fucking skedaddle. We got to skedaddle out of here. And so they go, and Freeze is like, Nora. And because they shut down the machine, chat, Nora is dying. And Bruce goes, holy fucking shit. Jesus, no using company resources under any circumstances. That is in fucking bold on the company profile page on their website, apparently. Yeah, you're not even to save your dying wife. Fuck you and your dying wife, Ferris Bueller says. And so Batman's like, holy shit. Meanwhile, we cut outside, chat, and Mr. Freeze has got his giant fucking ice cannon, and he's zapping all the people. He's zapping the building. And he's like, we're going to freeze these motherfuckers in here. We're going to let the rot freeze, and I'm going to come for Ferris Bueller myself. Batman hears all this shit, and he gets on out there, and he's like, Mr. Freeze, stop doing all this. Oh, no, Mr. Freeze walks in. I'm sorry. Reverse. Because Mr. Freeze, he shows up there, and Mr. Freeze is like, yes, it's quite a tragic story, isn't it, Batman? I would cry if I had any tears left to shed. And he shoots him. And then we cut chat to the Wampa Cave on Hoth. And he has Batman, like, just the way Luke was. And, like, Batman's like, listen, Victor, let me help you. Let me help you out of this. And Victor's like, no, all I want was revenge. She's like, there are other ways we can do. We can do this legally. We can, instead of revenge, we can get you justice. We can get justice. Like, I don't care for justice. It didn't help me then. Vengeance is all I seek, Batman. And he leaves until he leaves. He does the typical monologue and leaves. I will kill Ferris Bueller tonight. Humanitarian. Ah! And he leaves. And Batman goes, I gotta get the fuck out of here. And Batman, he uses his fucking sheer willpower and strength to bust out of that ice, chat, beats up a couple of guards, and he goes after Victor. Then, chat, we're at the building where he's using the giant freeze gun. Batman shows up. He starts bopping and booping. Mr. Freeze is like, fuck this. He kicks a goddamn fire hydrant, chat, shoots his gun into it, and he propels himself up to the floor where Ferris Bueller's accepting his humanitarian award. And he fucking busts on in. He's like, zap, frozen, you're frozen. Fucking Ferris Bueller's like, oh my God, why are you doing this? Who are you? He's like, you don't recognize me, Mr. Ferris Bueller. I think you remember killing my wife. And he starts freezing him still. He's like, Victor, please, I'm sorry. Don't kill me. He's like, I'm gonna kill you, motherfucker. And then Batman shows up. And he throws a batarang at Mr. Freeze. Mr. Freeze, he blasts it. And it's like, and it's a fucking mano-y-mano chat. Batman v. Mr. Freeze. And fucking Batman, he goes to punch him, and he's like, nothing. He's like, oh, shit. That is like, ow. That did nothing. Mr. Freeze is like, yeah, I have a fucking, like, metal exoskeleton. And this robot, like, this body, this exoskeleton body, the suit, triples my fucking strength. And he just picks Batman up and just throws him across the goddamn Batman goes, ah! And he fucking gets thrown. And Mr. Freeze just keeps punching Batman in the face over and over again. Batman's got nothing, but he has one thing Mr. Freeze did not expect, chat. The chicken soup! He has the 64-ounce thermos of chicken soup that Alfred gave him. And he fucking aimed like, Mr. Freeze like, what the fuck? And he hits him on the head, chat, and all the soup falls in his face, and it cracks down like, chicken soup! And he dies. So he doesn't die. He keels over, chat. He keels over, and the GCPD, they're coming in there, arresting him. They're busting down the doors. And Batman, and he gives it to fucking Vicky Vale. He's like, listen, this will reveal all the information about Victor Freeze and Ferris Boyle and all of his illegal activities and murder. And he gives that to her, and he stops by Ferris Boyle and get one of the most iconic lines that's been used since then in multiple Batman movies and video games. Great line, chat. He says, good night, humanitarian, which he says with such stank on it, chat. And eventually, we cut to Arkham Asylum, chat, to the cell of Mr. Freeze, where he is, again, doing another monologue over the snow globe, the figure, which represents his wife. And he's basically, and we see for the first time ever, he's actually crying. He's crying because he's like, I tried, Nora, to get revenge for us, but it was all for naught. I'm sorry that I failed you, but hopefully one day you will embrace a warm hand again, and I will be that warm hand. So he's basically saying, when I die, I'll be with you again. This is like, Jesus. And Batman, he's outside, he's watching, he's like, that is some sad shit. That is really sad. See ya! And that is fucking Batman, the animated series, chat, episode 14, Heart of Ice. It is an amazing episode. All the Mr. Freeze episodes, the animated series, are great, including the Sub-Zero movie and the Batman Beyond episode, chat. It's really, really good. This anime, it's very sad. Like, you just see what this guy is feeling. He has all this pain. He doesn't know how to express it. He's overcome with emotion finally for the first time in a very long time. It's always been there. That rage has always been there, but now it explodes in this tragedy, and he has nothing. He thinks his wife. And funny enough, we find out in the next episode, chat, that Nora is alive. Someone else, they bought her cryo tube, and she's still in there. But that's not coming for a while. But it's a great episode. You can imprison Arnold. No, you cannot. No, you cannot. Oh my God.